Well, Brother Addison, we are back again. I know it's been a while and
Yes.
we've been both been busy, man, but we're here to shoot another episode with
Of
the
three.
Pillars.
Of.
Man,
That's it.
I'm Alex James.
Addison Corbin.
And today we are going to talk about, and the title of our podcast for today is called Redefining Strength from Bulking Up to Building In. And for those of you who have tuned into our podcast episodes before, we always like to start with an opening quote. And today's quote is strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. Mahatma Gandhi. And so, my brother Addison, based on what I just said, how does that resonate with you?
So a lot of what is, I think, important about life is the understanding of being able to not focus on one category, right? You're trying to do many different aspects of life in the pursuit of whatever that might be. Right. And so a little bit of what we talked about was, the transition between I want to get as big as possible
Yeah.
to I want to be as healthy as possible,
Right.
but also physically able.
Right.
And so I think that is that kind of where you want to go with this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
That's exactly what I want to go with. Yeah.
And so I think during that process, you start growing as a human being, right? And if the idea of becoming that person that you're trying to become,
yeah,
you're gonna have to make some transitions along the way.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna have to learn to pick this up or put this down or have that self evaluation. Right. Is that kind of where you want to
No,
go?
that's exactly where I wanted to go. I think the main thing, and it's funny, I was talking to Lacoster yesterday, and he was talking about how he had like injury in his back and he couldn't lift for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And so we were just chopping it up, and he was just saying how this actually been a very reflective a couple of weeks because of the fact that he realizes that there's more to life than just getting gains, getting bigger, getting stronger. And for the longest, that's kind of was our thing. When we used to both live in Charlotte, get up early, lift heavy, look, make sure we're getting stronger. Like it was more externally focused. We didn't really care about properly warming up, and we just like, we just gonna hit the weights.
Yeah.
And so I think the funny thing about kind of his situation is it's better to come to the realization that, okay, is it cool to get big and get strong? Yes, it definitely is. But in the long run, is that going to ultimately benefit me?
Yeah.
And you see it all the time. You see guys who are, physically look good, physically strong, physically, can athletic, all that, got all the external stuff going on, but internally, they're almost like a boy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then you also have the idea of like Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
Completely beat up, walking like he's about to break.
Yeah.
But big as hell.
Big, yeah. In his heyday, yeah.
But I guess the thought processes on that is like his entire identity. That's what he wanted. That was his main focus, was being world champion.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you hit that, right, then is that a loss? Right? Is that a loss because that's everything you were going for anyways?
Yeah.
Right. And you achieved the pinnacle of what you were trying to do.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think that's the thing you have to ask yourself. It's because goals like that come with sacrifices. Sacrifice family, sacrifice personal life. It's all about this one goal, being Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
In Ronnie Coleman's case. So I guess it just depends on what you define what success looks like.
Yeah.
If you define like reaching that pinnacle as success, that's great. You've done what you sought out to do, right?
Right.
But then again, hindsight's kind of 2020 as well. It's like once you reach the top of the mountain, you're kind of like, okay.
Yeah. What if you don't die on the other end of it? Right?
And I don't think we think that ahead, right? Like we get so singularly tunnel vision focused on this one goal, and then once we reach it, it's like, you kind of look back down towards the mountain, you realize, oh, there was an opportunity that I missed to have a family.
Mm-hmm.
I miss if I do have a family, my kids are grown, or
Yeah.
I don't have that close relationship with them. Kind of look down, you're like, there's a lot of scattered bodies down there.
Well, and so that's something I think about a lot, right? Because and I think we've kind of had that conversation before, where I know that I'm giving up a lot of stuff, and that I've given up a lot of stuff in my past probably 10 years of family, kids, whatever, just for the understanding of like I know that this is what I need to do and what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with that. And then now I've kind of gotten to a different place, and I'm a little bit more open to other ideas where I was a little bit more closed off, right?
Right.
And so I think ultimately it's about understanding the process and the road that you're traveling on. Like you have to be okay with those things. Like you have to be okay with
absolutely
with looking back and being okay with that.
Absolutely.
Right.
You gotta make peace with those things.
But also know that there's transition inside of everything. Right. You're not stuck to anything in life, which is the crazy. Like we all have free will, right? Yeah. There may be a path that you can choose to go down, but there is 100% free will in the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
You get to choose what road you want to go down. Whether it's the right one or the wrong one, nobody really knows up until the end. But
well, nobody really knows but you.
Yeah.
People can feel like people can like external, from the outside looking in, they can give you advice on, hey, I don't think you should do that, or hey, I think you should do this. But at the end of the day, I think if you define that success early and you make peace with the sacrifices that you're going to make on the road to that success, then I think it's all good.
Yeah.
But I think what tends to happen is sometimes we're kind of like on the fence about like, I don't really know what success looks like, but I've seen it like, from social media or.
Well, you've seen what you liked.
Right. I think that's the main thing. You see what you like. You see how people are living based off this goal that you want. So I think where the trouble can be is if you're defining success by only looking external.
Yeah.
And you're not really having those like internal conversations with yourself and really reflecting on, okay, is this really what I want? Like, yeah, the goal looks great on social media. I see all the bells and whistles and the highs and lows and everything, but that's all the external stuff.
Yeah.
It's not anything that's gonna really fill you. It might, but again, you have to know that within yourself.
So like which leads me to going back to like Ronnie Coleman is like the idea of, do you think that he would change anything?
I don't think he would.
I don't either.
Because I look at it like this. You look back and if I was in his shoes, I'll look back and I probably miss opportunities where, whether it was family, friends, whatever.
Yeah.
I made some sacrifices there, but at the end of the day, it kind of shaped me to
where you're at.
Where you're at.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he looks back and like, well, damn, I got all these, I barely can walk and
Yeah.
all that, but then
Yeah.
when it comes to powerlifting like that and lifting heavy like how he was, I mean, it's high risk, high
We're
reward.
talking 500, 600, 700 pounds, 800 pounds.
Oh yeah, close to 1,000 pounds. Yeah.
But, you hold that record for a long time. And you go down as history as Ronnie Coleman. Like,
Yeah.
and did you ever watch, they did a documentary on him?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the man, I mean, yeah, he might be moving around like how he's moving around, but I mean, he's still going to the gym.
Yeah, he's
working
still
out.
still working
He
out.
got family.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's got a couple kids.
Yeah.
I don't know about his wife or anything like that.
I don't know either.
But I mean, he seemed like he was still right.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's kind of the thing is that you got to be willing to be understanding of where you're at and where you want to go and what it's going to take and the sacrifices that you're going to have to make to get there.
Yeah.
And as long as you're okay with it, you're okay with it.
Yeah.
So in the middle of all this, Alex has never played chess. But we're in the process of rebranding a few different things, and I
think this setup is
a go.
It's a go. Yeah. Like my brother asked and said, I never played chess a day in my life. Always thought it was a great game, but just never took time to learn it. But I think with this setup that we've created now, I think it's one that fits the motto, that fits the whole vibe of the podcast, and with chess, from what I hear, it's a game of life.
Yeah.
And so, but
So I've explained the pieces for the best that I can. I say we play chess while we're having conversation,
yeah, we can try it out for sure.
and then that way it's kind of like a learning process, and then ultimately we get to a point where we're actually playing pretty solid.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll probably take me a couple episodes, but
no, I mean I think you'd be surprised. You'll pick it up quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pick it up quick. It's the idea behind it is pretty simple.
Yeah.
The strategy is when it starts coming into play. Like there's guys that are ridiculous. They can murk in like 3 moves.
Yeah, I mean you see I see on the internet where you got kids who can dog walk in chess. Who can dog walk me in chess, and so
white moves first.
Okay.
So as soon as you move one of your pieces, then I will make a move, and then we'll go back and forth and kind of play it as it is.
I'm gonna do a quick pivot with the topic.
Okay.
Why do you think? And I'm gonna come back to what we're talking about. But why do you think they say chess is like the game of life? What on your own opinion about that?
I think because you are playing the person,
right?
You're playing strategy, right? And the ultimate focus is to protect yours.
Yeah.
Right. All meanwhile trying to take out the other person.
Yeah.
But you're playing the other person more so than you're playing the actual game.
Yeah.
Right. And so ultimately, I think it kind of fundamentally comes down to there's all these pieces, and each piece has a position to move. And all in the same time, you were protecting this one.
Mm-hmm. Protecting yours.
Mm-hmm.
Protecting your queen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
and so in many different ways, that's my thought process.
Yeah. No, I just from what I've heard, I mean, similar to what you said, I think it's just all about, playing, it's all about planning, right? Strategizing, trying to think 2, 3 steps ahead of your opponent, which is life. Yeah. Right. So it's just how, sometimes in life you have to be proactive, right? It's similar in the game, but sometimes you gotta be reactive as well.
Yeah.
Whatever life throws at you. So I'm actually excited to learn this game. I think it'll be dope. But pivot back to the conversation. Why do you think there's this big shift in this whole, we focusing on what's, I guess, the shift of what the idea of strength looks like. Why you? I know we normally, us people who are younger, even people who are older, they might look at strength as like a physical thing, right?
Yeah.
Being strong, being swole, and all that. But why do you think there's such a shift now, or I wouldn't say even a shift, more of like a focus on, okay, how am I doing mentally, and even on health, like
Well,
focus on health and
I think number one, as far as not being so stuck with
you said this can go either what two or
yeah, it can go two the first move, it can move up two.
okay.
The
First move can
yeah, you can move up one or two spaces.
and either like diagonal or
Just forward.
just forward.
Mhm. Um, and so that whole process, I think, has kind of transitioned because number one, you have the younger generation who is now understanding that, you know, um, you know, we've kind of had like a little bit of a weaker society, right? Just in general, because people don't have to go to war. They don't have to go and work inside of um, the industrial complex. Like they don't have to do those things. We have more people doing more IT work. You have, there's more time
Yeah.
to focus on the internals versus the externals, right?
Right.
Like our parents and our grandparents, all they could do was work.
Mhm.
And if you had someone who was growing up during World War II or any time during the recession, they didn't have time to sit there and be like, oh, how do I feel about this?
Right.
There just wasn't that. And so I believe that the the world has just fundamentally come around to where we have more time to worry about how we feel.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, right? There's benefit in that
Mhm.
because you start getting into a more prosperous life.
Yeah.
I believe, and you're able to focus on a little bit more things.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, I think that's kind of what that's kind of played out to be. Um, Now you also have the transition of from bodybuilder or the regular gym. You have triathletes now.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these other different types of athletes. You have CrossFit that came out, right? That was not necessarily focused on how big are you, but how fit are you,
Right.
right? You have the fit games, right? You don't have bodybuilding games.
Mm-hmm.
You have CrossFit games, which is who is the fittest human being in the world,
Yeah.
right? And that plays between running, swimming, weightlifting, uh, the endurance,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you to be an endurance athlete, you ran track. To run track, you must be able to mentally get to that space where it's like, okay, I'm tired, but I'm gonna keep going.
I got to push through.
Right?
Yeah.
You get into wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
wrestling or jujitsu.
Yeah.
There's that mental process of thought.
Yeah.
Where you have to go through that mental programming of like, yeah, I could quit here,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to.
And you gotta be able to think through the pressure as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I think all of these different types of athletes also formulated into where now it's okay to be not just focused on going to the gym to lift weight.
No, I so if what the front line is. So okay, so the first move, since this piece's first move, it can go to okay. So it's not just like your first move and then
Right.
okay.
Yeah, just that entire front line their first move can move up two spaces or one space.
And I can go either side.
Yeah, you can move whichever piece you want on this board.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so now we're in a space where this you can take the other pawn diagonally. That's the only time that you can move. So
Okay.
in this event, if I don't take you,
I could
then you can take me.
Gotcha. So okay.
We'll just that is the learning process. This is why I was like, we'll play this game, kind of
Get hang on. Yeah. But I think, man, I think it's a couple of things. I think one, like you touched on earlier, I think just our like our generation and the generation behind us, like Gen Z,
Mhm.
we're in more of a privileged space. A lot of us, I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying a lot of us grew up in a better situation than our parents and
Mhm.
grandparents, you know, because, your grandparents probably came from humble beginnings, your parents came from
Yeah.
humble beginnings, and same as mine. And so, um, like you said, they had to think more of, hey, it's not really, I don't really care how I feel. I got to figure out how to put food on the table.
Mhm.
And so I think it just kind of went from generation to generation where it's like, our grandparents raising our parents, they raised them a certain way. But then our parents were probably like, hmm, you know, when I have my family, I don't think I'm gonna raise them like how I was raised.
Yeah.
So then now it's like you have us, right? Where we were privileged, fortunate. We got everything we wanted and needed, right?
Yeah.
Um, and there was a little bit of helicoptering from them as well, as far as making sure we got what we wanted, got what we needed, got making sure like they didn't sheltered us a little bit as far as like not exposing us to a lot of things.
Yeah.
But because of that, it did make us weaker in a sense where, you know, not necessarily us, but just like our generation, where you do have some people who, when they start getting on their own, now they're starting to run into different situations and different problems that now they have to think through and figure out, instead of having to go back to their parents or
Yeah.
ask their parents.
Yeah.
And so I think it's that aspect of it, but also I think we're starting to figure out and really realize that I think when you see like some of your like athletes start passing away and athletes having, athletes or whoever start, just having issues
Yeah.
after they retire or even during, their time of playing. You see a lot of athletes, like for example, football players who might have CTE or who, they put their whole body on the line. They played reckless while they were in the league, in the professional league, and then now afterwards they're broken.
Yeah.
And so, and then also you got to think, psychologically what that does to them as well, where it's like, hey, if I'm hurt, that gives somebody behind me a chance to play, and then I can eventually lose my job. So
Yeah.
let me not let me shoot up or do something where I can, numb the pain to where I can go play and potentially still have my job. So I think also, man, you see athletes who commit suicide as well.
Yeah.
And these guys are, bigger, strong, bigger, stronger.
Yeah.
And they're committing suicide. Like there was this actually happened recently where there was I believe he played defensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys.
Everybody's.
Yeah, and and I think supposedly he committed suicide.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was they were talking to, I guess, different people like family, friends, and they were saying how they weren't even seeing the red flags.
Yeah.
Like it just, they were like, well, he seemed like he was in a great space,
Yeah.
Played a football game, and then literally after the football game, he committed suicide.
Yeah.
So I think when you see that happen and you see it happen frequently, I think we do start to look at it
Sideways.
Yeah, you're like, this guy was 6'5", 3 something,
Yeah.
could move like a deer, strong like an ox, and he just killed himself.
Yeah.
So I think it's just when you start to see stuff like that and people taking their lives, and people who are struggling, who were deemed our heroes and who we looked up to, like even look at. Have you ever seen there's a special like Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell?
Yeah.
It was like a 30 for 30.
Yeah.
And they were just talking about how, in their prime, they were the guys, right? They were they were especially early days of UFC,
Big time.
but then once they started falling off, and even after UFC, man, they were struggling. You know, I
Yeah.
think Chuck Liddell was struggling with like alcoholism and stuff like that, and then Tito Ortiz was going through like I think like a divorce and trying to get custody of his kids, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And so when you see that, you're like, hold up, man, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to be big and strong and athletic and the top of your sport, top of the food chain, right? But it's like if my mental's not all the way there,
Yeah. Or if I'm not planning for the future,
right,
there's the idea that, not all of this is forever. And
right,
so it's you over a period of time, you start to not worry about certain things, right? You're
hmm
like, um, if I just go all in right now, then it'll all work out,
yeah,
right? And maybe it does, but then also on the back end, if you don't have any sort of um, if you don't have any sort of how you say it, like plan
yeah,
or process for how you're going to extend past where you're at,
hmm
there can be a lot of issues that come along with that. So there's like, the idea of saving money, the idea of having a contingency plan if this thing doesn't work out or whatever. Um, which also on the contrary to that, burn the boats,
yeah,
right? Like so, there's so many levels of where you're at, but I think making sure that you're looking into the future and what happens after I get to this point,
hmm
right? Am I going to be able to take that 60,000 foot view, and am I going to be able to make some adjustments at that point?
yeah,
Hopefully. Am I going to have enough money to make that transition or that adjustment if I want to at that point? Hopefully,
right,
right? But it's all about planning and making those moves during the process. Like what we're talking about right now, like those guys that, I was one of those guys. I wanted to be big, I wanted to be strong, I wanted to do whatever. And then there's that adjustment where you start looking at jujitsu and you're like, it doesn't always
yeah,
pay to be the
that
biggest
biggest,
dude
yeah,
or
yeah.
the dude who
That's a
doesn't
good
have the
point.
most
That's a great point.
athletic ability, right?
Yeah,
And you start getting to where you're lifting weight every single week, you start getting a little bit more tired. And then you get to jujitsu on Thursday or Friday, and you're
smoke.
like, oh, I'm getting smoked because
Yeah,
these guys are tearing me up because I'm sore,
yeah,
right? Like you start realizing, like, okay, then I can plan this. I can make that adjustment if I reflect. If I
yeah,
reflect, and then I think about the process of where I'm at, okay, I can make a different move. I can do heavy weights on Monday. That way I'm not sore by Wednesday.
right.
I can do hypertrophy on Wednesday, and then I can go into the gym
Right.
jujitsu Thursday and Friday.
No, that's actually I'm glad you brought up jujitsu because it that I think that definitely plays that's the example of like there's different types of strength,
There's different levels of this.
different levels to this, and so you know for the guys who are big and strong and good at jujitsu, that's no fair. But for like guys like us who were at one point before we even started jujitsu, it was let's get big and strong,
Yeah,
let's look good in the gym and all that. Let's be as strong as possible.
yeah.
But then when we started, you first get there,
Hmm.
right? And you probably have a similar story. First get there, white belt, just open mat, right? Then he said might be like a purple belt or black belt, but he's like maybe 150, 160, right?
Yeah,
Probably like 5 7, like this.
yeah.
You don't think
Average dude.
average dude, right? It's average Joe. You think, okay, I can this guy can it not understanding like the levels of like what a really good purple belt and of course what a black belt, like
Yeah,
what level that is. But you're just looking from an ignorant standpoint, you're just
yeah.
like, oh, I'm
Oh, I
bigger, I'm
got this. Yeah.
stronger, my cardio could be better,
Hmm.
right? But as you start rolling, you realize one, you haven't even taken a breath,
Hmm.
and the guy you're rolling with is just as calm as he can be.
He's working.
Well, yeah. You know, and the funny thing is, it's jujitsu is like chess, where he's like, okay, I already know how I'm going to submit him
Mhm.
by not even. Not you haven't even done anything yet. He's like, I already know how I'm going to submit him and everything. But with like us, and us being ignorant, we're just exhausting ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, after maybe 5 minutes, gassed, you're tired. You don't even you're breathing hard, and then next thing you know, he might put you in something simple like a rear naked or even a Kimura, like just something or a baseball choke.
Yeah.
But the point of that story is when that happens to you, when you get humbled a little bit, that does force you to rethink,
Everything you've ever thought about.
yeah, so,
Your 150-pound dude was a 15-year-old girl for me. Okay. 15-year-old girl who was a purple belt was probably 90 pounds. And I'm like, oh, you're screwed. I'm about to put you out. And no, dude, she put me out, dude.
yeah,
She put me out first day on the mat. And that was the moment where I was like, okay, ego.
ego gone.
Yeah.
I threw it away.
And I think that's a lot of the space for a lot of people where they're just like their mindset is just like, bro, that is what it is, you know?
Where can it go that what? You can't do nothing, right?
Yeah, you can. Up 2/1 or up 1/2.
Okay, so up one, and you said over two?
Yeah, so you did up 2.
I did up two, and then
over 1.
over. Okay, so up two, over. Okay, good.
Um, so yeah, I mean that's that whole process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Learning as you're developing in these things, understanding you're not going to know everything, understanding prepping for the future,
Yeah.
right? When I first started jujitsu, I was doing weight training every single day.
Oh, same.
I was doing jujitsu every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to the point where I started getting injuries. My shoulder was acting up. My back, I got folded one time, and my back, like I felt my back like that.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym anyways. Went to the gym, dude, messed myself up. I was out for like 2 or 3 days, where I was like, I'm gonna have to go to the chiropractor now because I can't move other than this.
Yeah.
Right. Like all of these things start playing, and you get to a point where you really have to start learning the process.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to start learning the process and planning for the future and having some sort of a mental review of all the things that you're going through. You know, ultimately, I think that's how all of this kind of starts to come together. Where we had the conversation about like a softer economy where people can go and do different types of IT work and be at home and work from home
Right.
and they're not having
You
to.
don't have to do a blue collar job.
You're not having to work with your hands. You're not having to do these things. You don't learn
Yeah.
how to change a tire. You don't learn how to build a bookshelf. You don't learn these things.
You can call people to do stuff for that now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now you don't have that reliance on the self.
Mm-hmm.
Right. For instance, so over the past couple of days, I've been, I built out my garage gym. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing one thing, a sauna.
Mm.
And so I canceled my gym membership.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I got everything I need at the house, and I'm just gonna do this. But now I'm like, dude, I don't have a sauna. So you know what I did? I've been Googling it, been looking at it, been trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Spent a year almost, and not being able to pull the trigger on the sauna because I'm like, man, that's too much money. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. And then I got to the point where I was like, okay, well, they came out with those. The sauna pod and whatever, like the plastic.
Yeah, like a portable.
It's like a sweat box.
Yeah.
Or like a sweat.
Like collapsible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, those as unhealthy as I think that probably is, I'm gonna take a shot at it because the one that I bought was made out of cotton. It was, it was the best version of a portable sauna.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, there's a few good reviews, it should be good. I ordered it. It comes in a plastic heater. It's got like a plastic heater in it. Man, the thing smells like plastic. And I'm like, bro,
This cannot be
this is not
not
good,
good, right?
And I'm like, it's in a plastic heating unit. And then on top of that, I'm in a thing that kind of smells like chemicals.
Yeah.
And then there's a plastic door.
Mm.
And I'm like, bro, this is not.
Yeah, I
this is not it.
I don't even feel right. Yeah.
And so I turn it on. I gave it a shot. It heats up to like 160, 165.
Mm-hmm.
They said 185. So I go through that process up to everyone. And so I go through the process. I'm gonna test it out. I get in the thing the first time, bro. I smelled like plastic when I got out.
Oh yeah.
I was like, nah, I can't do this.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna send a message to them, let them know kind of where my thoughts are at. Whatever. Fast forward, they get back to me. They're like, hey, you just got a bad heater. We're gonna send you a new heater. That should take care of it. Okay. Heater comes in. I wait 2 days. Yep. During this period of time of waiting for this heater, I'm like, bro, there's got to be better options out there. Mm-hmm. So then I see this sweat box. It's genuinely like it's bigger than this, but it's about the same width. Mm-hmm. It's the same diameters, but it probably is about this big. Yeah. Right. And I was like, bro, these go for like $2,900. I don't really want to spend that, but ultimately it might be worth it. Right. Mm-hmm. I look at it, whatever. And then they come back to me, get the heater in. I try the heater out one more time. Gets up to 165 this time. I'm like, all right, that's not bad. It doesn't smell so bad about plastic. I get in it. I'm like, nah, dude, I can't do this. Yeah. Like, I'm returning this. So I send it, or not send it, but I send them another message. Whatever. We're going back and forth trying to get this thing returned. During this period of time, I find DIY, build your own
yeah.
sauna.
Yeah.
But it's a box sauna like I was looking at. All right, bro. I'm building the sauna. Yeah. So I order all the stuff, whatever it starts coming in. I start putting it together last weekend. I'll finish it this weekend as long as everything comes in. I'm waiting on like the heating unit. Mm-hmm. But bro, it's supposed to get up to like 200 degrees. Infrared heat. Yeah. So it's wood, like wood. It's all wood. And so I'm building it out. I'm working on it. But I like that thought process is like I thought about doing that, like because I saw the market for it. I opened it up and then I was like, I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. Order this. Realized that I went with the easy option. Yeah. And I was not happy. Right. Me going through this process of like 2 weeks of my weekend or 2 weekends of 2 weekends of me giving it up. Giving up my weekend for 2 weeks, 2 weekends in a row. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, I'll probably have a sauna that I'll have for a very long time. Right. And I know that I built it. Yeah. Right? So it's that personal satisfaction. Yeah.
It's funny how sometimes we take the longer route of hitting the easy button when it would have been quicker to just roll your sleeves up and do the work yourself. Right. And so to kind of wrap things up, based on what we talked about today. Yeah. For you, how can you apply what we talked about?
Mind, body, and spirit.
To your mind, body, and spirit.
There's a lot of things that I'm currently doing to do that. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it comes down to where my life is currently. I'm realizing that me just waking up and saying thank you to God and spending that time, that's not the only amount of time that I've got to spend. Yeah. Right? And making that adjustment. Been really trying to, and Zyra's been a help in that process. Yeah. Of trying to, get us on Sundays. We're spending that time and dedicating that time. Whether it be going to church, whether it be, listening to a sermon on YouTube or whatever. That's good. And then last Sunday, she slept in because we stayed up late watching The Godfather.
Oh,
And
the movie, the album.
the movie. So we
Oh,
watched one, two,
classic.
started on three.
Three classics,
Um,
bro.
and so we stayed up late or whatever, and um, ended up she slept in. Fast forward, she slept in, and I grabbed my devotional book, and I was like, "Bro, I haven't that hasn't been a process in my head where because like I wanted to start on the sauna, but I was like, before I do this, I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna go through this, and that's been a process in what this is, what we're talking about, making that transition, being able to think for the future, right? Being able to realize that it's not just about building the muscle; it's about being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being inside that. So that's for me. It's understanding that there's transition in life.
Yeah.
There's transition in the things that you do, and you don't have to be stuck in. And well, I just say thank you every morning, and I say thank you at night. Like that should be, that keeps me moving forward.
Yeah.
In sort of that transition, body wise, it's the same thing, right? Understanding that there's time for recovery, there's time for adjustment.
Yeah.
And that's me building the sauna. That's me making time for that thought process, not taking the easy way.
Putting the action to it.
Right. And then spirit, man, or mind, body, spirit, body, mind. Allowing myself to have that time to make those adjustments.
Yeah.
Because you can't make that adjustment without spending time up here.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that would be my thoughts.
No, I like
What about you?
I say for the mind, I think kind of what we hit on, man, is redefining the word strength.
Mm-hmm.
I think as I got older, so I just felt, especially in my 30s, it's more of like, I don't know if you felt this, where it's like I really don't need to prove nothing to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm cool with that now.
Yeah.
I think this, in my 20s, it was just about, we gotta, it was just like go, 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 go,
Mm-hmm.
go. Not really having time to, not necessarily, not making the time to sit there and reflect on like the right direction I'm
Mm-hmm.
going. Like, I think it was just more about go, 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 more about external validation, at least for me. Trying to live to or not disappoint or live
Yeah.
people's expectations. I think now it's just more of okay, I don't have to be this way, and then just regardless of like what time back to what we talked about, I think when you finally figure out that strength is not what you've been programmed,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think we've been programmed to see like, oh, this guy is, you know, swole and 6'4", and oh he has it going on.
Yeah.
But I think when you start to, I think social media plays a role in it too, where like
For
you see
sure.
a lot more people, especially like athletes and like people who are in that like fighters and kind of open up more about like mental health and their struggles and
Yeah.
talk about going through depression and stuff like that. When you hear stuff like that and you see how like just how the defensive tackle from the Cowboys, how he just took his life, and you're like, wow, these are people who are like giants to a normal person, right? And they're having the same issues that an average person is having on a daily basis. So I think that's what helps me to kind of redefine what strength means, because it doesn't necessarily mean physical strength. It can mean somebody could be strong financially, somebody could be strong spiritually, somebody could be strong, uh, cardiovascular. There's different ways of defining what strength is, but I think for me, once coming to the process of like, okay, redefining strength, but then also you got to redefine it for you.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I'm at now, where it's like, okay, it's not necessarily about you being able to bench this or squat this or deadlift this, or it's just more about, health, like just overall being good health and making sure this always stays sharp.
Yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer. If this ain't sharp, body and spirit going with it as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the mind for me is, redefining what strength is. Body. Now once we redefined it and I redefined it for myself, now let's put that into action.
Yeah.
And like the one thing I like that you said was like, okay, I still like to lift, I still like to go to the gym, still like to do jujitsu, but I also need to understand like there's a time where I need to recover. There's a time where I might need to shift my focus towards my fiance or family or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the balancing act.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more the body where it's like I still like to lift and, you know, be strong and all that.
Yeah.
Still like to go to jujitsu roll, but also if I can't be strong in this area and then weak in this area
Yeah.
in my life, it's all about, it can do this,
Yeah.
but it can't be this.
Yeah.
And so I feel like sometimes I could be like, because I'm very all or nothing type of person.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I've always struggled with is like, man, I want to be able to hit the gym every day and do jujitsu every day.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start to realize you're like, it's kind of like a grief where you're like, damn, I can't do that.
I can't do it.
Right? Like, fuck, I can't,
Yeah.
And then like you kind of, you kind of compare yourself sometimes. Like you might see somebody who's younger, like in jujitsu, right? You might see somebody that's younger and they're blue belt, purple belt, black belt, even. And they're in there every day,
Yeah.
and they might be doing competition and everything. And you're like, damn, I don't want to do that. Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
But then you realize, oh, this kid's 17.
Yeah.
He doesn't have
his job is in
his job is in
this
is his job, right? Like, this is his job. Like he's trying to make his way through jujitsu. That's how we're making our way through just whatever aspect we're doing. And so I think that's what I'm starting to redefine and be okay with, because I think that there's an ego part of us.
Yeah,
right?
There's still that struggle. Like, majority of my guys are young, and they're like,
man.
They're like, this or that, or like, they're like, bro, you're getting soft, and I'm like, bro,
right.
If only you knew
right.
what you just said to me. What you just said to me makes me want to just shut everything down and go so hard.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like my I think that's like, I really do enjoy having those guys around me, but it's there's a certain level of I gotta keep myself in check sometimes, because I forget that the responsibilities that I have here, when they're like, oh, you can't make more phone calls to me, you can't do this to me and whatever.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm going to, but now I'm gonna have to stay here till 7 o'clock every night, because
I'm saying, and it's a trickle down effect. Now you do that, now your significant other upset because you ain't spending time. Yeah,
like it's a whole process. But there's that discipline you've got to be able to bring to the game, and I think that's kind of what we're talking about is learning that discipline. Is probably the most important piece to all of this, because that's where you see this with cats that are getting our age or above. They get that complacency where they start putting these things to the side because they're like, oh, I don't have enough time. But you would if you had a little bit more discipline. And that's the line that I'm riding right now, where it's like, I am staying up later, so I'm not so eager to get up in the morning, and that time frame of like, okay, well, I can kick it later, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this, or maybe I don't have to be the first person in the office. You know what I mean? Like, all of those adjustments, you start playing with yourself, and then you start like having that dialogue. But there is room for some of these things. Like, there's room for some of these thoughts, but it's so hard because we have that same mindset where it's like it's all or nothing. It can get out of hand, because then you're like, well, the most important thing right now is work. And then so you stop, you start putting the gym to the side, or you start putting jujitsu to the side, or you start putting this to the side, or you start whatever. And then you're like, you look up and you're like, oh shit, bro, I haven't been to jujitsu in 2 weeks, or whatever.
That's I feel like Cause we last time we met like October, like mid
Mm-hmm.
October. From that time until now, I just been yeah, we had like a couple weddings we had to go to, and then like after that, it was like then kind of got into this new role of work. So now it's like traveling all
Mm-hmm.
the time, and I just felt like I got so focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, damn, I ain't been gym. I ain't been to gym in a month. I ain't been to jujitsu in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And like and even though like work wise things are great, but then like there's that little part of you that's like,
Guilty.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, because it's like, damn, I don't want to be that person,
Yeah.
because again, because this is how we are. It's like when we start something, like we full throttle,
Yeah.
we're going like it's all or nothing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's like just recently, it's like that's been the guilt where it's
Yeah.
like damn, I ain't been gym. I'm looking at myself, I'm getting a little flabby, you know what I mean? And then jujitsu, and it's like, because I had a good schedule going on, like
Mm-hmm.
3-4 times a week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturday open mat. Like I had a good good thing going. Like did that for like solid 3 months. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
finally like making
Right.
strides. Like I feel like I'm getting better. And then kind of, just life stuff where
Yeah.
oh, you want to go, your homeboy getting married, you're in that way. Your other homeboy getting married, you're in that way. Then after that, work. Now work is even more busy. Now you're traveling to Rome, then to Columbus, then to
Mm-hmm.
Carrollton, then to um Snellville. Like you're now it's this, and then I say all that to say this is where like you have to really be intentional
Mm-hmm.
about like the gym, jujitsu, or whatever hobby that you like
Yeah.
that you do for yourself to make yourself better,
Yeah.
right? Because I just feel like those type of things help with like your job because you're doing those things to it's kind of like the foundation, right?
Yeah.
Because like if you're not in the gym and you're not doing jujitsu, like those are really good times for you to like relieve stress,
Yeah.
the sweat, exercise, relieve some stress. Um, so like I realized within myself, like because I'm not doing those things, I'm staying up later than I need to,
Mm-hmm.
not eating as healthy because I'm on the go all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like I had to just stop. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, wait. I can't sit here and say I can't put work for this is where I was like, okay, I can't really put work first.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out the balance beam, right? Like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, you're in this new role, but that shouldn't be an excuse for you not to be able to make time for the gym and jujitsu, especially if these are things that you want to really do and really be
Pursue.
good at. Like, we have to put time into that as well. So I'm glad you said that because that's kind of in the
Yeah.
season I was in where it's just like, damn, work is going great, but everything else is kind of
Starting to teeter. Yeah.
yeah,
That's and I experienced that. I mean, this whole year has been that, bro.
yeah.
Because it was just 2 years. Almost been 2 years. That's crazy. So, but so that process of transitional changes and stuff like that, like you start learning and you go through that process of like, okay, well, this isn't working anymore because now I'm too focused here, and then I'm losing my transition. So it's like having that discipline and having that understanding that if these things are priorities, like you said, they are priorities,
Mhm.
then it's time to make the adjustments to make them easier to do.
Yeah,
Right. So maybe you don't go to the gym that's 20 minutes away.
right,
Maybe you go to the gym that's 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away.
bro.
Right. And you start making those adjustments.
Crazy, crazy, bro. It's like you're in my head, bro. I literally was. I talked to Lakasha yesterday. We was both talking about because there's this gym I go to in Brookhaven, which is close to my job. And it's a private gym, but we were talking about like it's like, bro, it's not even about the gym, like the type of gym anymore. It's just about
It's about being
what
independent.
gym can I can fit into my schedule that can help me to balance, right? Because like the gym's cool, but it's like it's not 24 hours. Like they open at 5:30,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, and then they close at 6:30.
Yeah.
So it's like you have this window. I have to be in that gym. But now, like in my life now, it's like I really need a 24-hour gym.
Yeah.
And if I once I do that, then it's like I need to find a gym that's like at max 15 minutes from home.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get there. If I want to get there, if I want to wake up at 4 and I get there at 4:15, 4:30, I need to be able to do that. Especially now that my schedule is just like, because you can think about it, bro. It when it's the evening time,
Yeah.
man, you ain't trying to do nothing.
Yeah.
The only
Especially once you get, that significant other, like,
yeah,
damn, now I gotta spend time
they
with
got to
them.
spend time, yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, so that's
Alleviating the ability for an excuse.
yes,
That's what
that's
it comes
the
down to.
that, and I'm going to leave it there on the body.
Yeah.
And then spirit wise, um, I think spirit wise, man, it kind of ties in with my mind also because it's like once I realized strength is not what I thought it was, it's actually this. It's like my spirit shifted. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I don't necessarily have to I can really just focus on more of like just praying, talking to God more,
Yeah.
going to church more, reading my Bible more, like that strength. Like there's a strength in that.
Yeah.
And there's people out there who are very strong in, you know, in that, like in whether it's, whatever religion you are, but they're strong in that spirit aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what I'm starting to focus more on as well because again, when you see people who are like of great stature that are passing away,
Yeah.
and they're passing away from like depression and or grief, whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, man, those are spiritual warfare. That's spiritual warfare,
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm starting to realize. Like, not only if it's physical warfare out here, but it's spiritual. It's more spiritual warfare too, because it's like
Yeah.
if you can break a man's spirit,
Yeah.
you pretty much got him. He's defeated.
Well, yeah. So there's a I saw this thing, man. It connects with this. The devil doesn't need to buy your house. He doesn't need your whole house.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs a nail.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the correlation between all of this is a man comes to a guy's house and he says, "Hey, I want to buy your house." And the man's like, "No, this house means a lot to me. It's been in my family for years. I'm not selling." And he says, "Okay, all right." And he comes back a couple years later. He's like, "Hey, I want to buy your house now." He said, "No, I've got kids now. I'm not selling the house. This is my house.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here for forever. It's gonna stay in my family." He's like, "Okay, can I at least buy a wall?" And he's like, "I mean, yeah, I'll sell you a wall."
Right.
And he's like, "But whatever." And he's like, I just want one wall."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Okay." And then he sells him the wall.
Mm-hmm.
The guy comes in and nails a dead carcass to the wall. And a part of the agreement is that he can't do anything. He has
That's his
access
wall.
to
Right.
his wall. And so over the next couple weeks, month, it gets so bad that the guy's like, I gotta sell my house.
Yeah.
The guy comes back and says, "Let me buy your house." And he sells it to him at that point. So going back to the idea is the devil only needs a nail.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the correlation of what you're saying is like I mean, I don't know a lot, but I do understand that the concept of if we're talking about that, you know, it's a which goes back to the entire process of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You got to be disciplined. You got to be on the game. You got to understand what's good for you, what's not good for you, and you got to plan for the future of what this process looks like. Be healthy.
Be transparent.
Yeah.
Because that's it. To that example you just gave, right? I'm gonna give it because me and Vanessa were doing like premarital counseling, and they were talking about how like Vanessa's more of like whatever she's thinking, she said it, right? I'm more of if I feel like it's going to affect me or you or both of us, I'm going to tell you. But if it's like a random thought that it's like it's not going to affect the bottom line, I'm gonna just keep it to myself. I don't really say nothing. And so like um the pastor when I said that he was like he's like I understand because I'm like that as well, but I had to learn that when you do that, you give the devil an entryway to cause confusion for your for Vanessa. Because if you're not telling her everything that's going on in your head or your mind, all the devil just needs to all the devil can all the devil has to say to Vanessa is like, oh, he's not telling you everything. He must be doing something. And it's just that little nugget that can spin her whole head around and really mess up the relationship. Yeah. But like you said, like the devil just needs that little small entry point where he can mess up everything. Just how you said, like devil just only needs a nail. Yeah. And then in your instance, like, hey, I just need this wall. But the wall is inside the home, and you put the dead carcass in it. Ultimately, you have to sell the home. So yeah, I think that's also the biggest thing too. It's like you gotta be transparent as well. Like if you're not in a good space, yeah, own up to that and admit that, hey man, I'm just not in a good space. And I gotta figure out how to get out of it. But right now I'm just in a funk. I think sometimes we don't even admit that to ourselves. Like we have a hard time admitting it to people, but we don't even admit to ourselves that we're struggling. Yeah. We just kind of like I know, especially push it off, push it off like, oh, this I'll be all right. Yeah. But then sometimes you do that and then it can lead you to where it's too late. Yeah. Like, it can lead to suicide, depression, or whatever. So yeah. But that's kind of what I think with the spirit, man. It's just being really it's I think for me it's just more about balance, right? There is a physical warfare, but you also gotta make sure you're strong in the spiritual aspect as well. Because like I said earlier, if a man doesn't have his spirit with him, yeah, he's ultimately a dead man. Yeah. So that concludes the Three Pillars of Man podcast. Like, share, subscribe to the Three Pillars of Man, and join us on our next episode where we just continue to have conversations on continuous improvement on the mind, body, and spirit. Peace.